I think that that's quite important if you want to remain lean, and lean is being lean is exceptionally important to running a successful business. You really need to question every pound that you're spending and really trying to rinse every single pound for what it's worth.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Strategy Show. Super excited. We have today Oliver Goffe, an entrepreneur who started lean, stayed lean, and now also in the stage of growth and scaling. He's still running a lean company, and we all want to know how to do that. What can we outsource, not even do ourselves? How can we stay lean? How can we make our best work with the least amount of non-essentials? Hi, Oliver.
Hello, Simon. How are you doing?
Thank you. We are so excited to learn with you how can we start lean, stay lean, especially in these times of uncertainty. What is your experience with this?
Well, I think I have very good grounding when it comes to running a lean business, in that I'm quite, the word that we use in English is tight. I don't, I'm very careful with money. I will question every pound that we are going to spend as a business and personally as well. And I think that that's quite important if you want to remain lean, and lean is being lean is exceptionally important to running a successful business. You really need to question every pound that you're spending and really trying to rinse every single pound for what it's worth. From the outset, we were very fortunate when we launched our business. My background is predominantly sales and marketing, and my co-founder, Gordon Fraser, his background is design, photography, videography. And so we covered a lot of bases, just the two of us, which allowed us to create, in fact, before we had even launched a product, we'd created a whole marketing campaign. We'd prototyped, we'd produced all the photography and videography that we required without anyone else playing any role in our business. And we didn't outsource any work at that particular time. Long hours, long weeks, but that's sort of what you have to do. As we have scaled and as we have grown, and when we have required that additional resource or skills that we don't have in-house, for us, the most sensible way to do it is to outsource that work. Again, not just picking one sort of somebody off the shelf, talking to people, understanding what their skill set is, what they're able to create, and find that person that is on the same wavelength as you, has similar values to you, and is at the right cost point as well for you.
Beautiful.
Do you want to make your sales more repeatable and reliable? Do you want to have less volatility and more growth in your revenue per month? At Strategy Sprints, we do only one thing: strategy in sprints. Strategy means more revenue through a better offer. Doing it in sprints means having more energy in your team every week. Check out if your ROI is as high as it is for most service-based and online businesses and startups we work with, which is over 100%. You can see yours in just 15 minutes by going to strategysprints.com/sales and completing our exercise to know what your ROI would be with our accelerator program. We are ready to sprint. Are you?
So for the people who don't know the Marlowe Watch Company, what are the main activities that you need to do, and which one did you outsource first, and then second, and then third?
So as we grew as a business, as many business owners will know, is as a founder, your time gets taken up with ultimately running the business rather than actually sort of performing any specific type of role. So what we found as we grew is we didn't have anyone to sort of perform our marketing, in particular our PR. Also, we didn't really have that level of skill or the connections in PR, and so it was the first element that we outsourced. And we actually put out a tender to various PR agencies local to us and in London, and found one that we absolutely loved, and we still work with them now. And they're able to run a complete area of our business efficiently, cost effectively, and get the results that we want without us having to employ somebody and worry about any of the sort of the costs around that and everything else that goes with hiring an employee. We found that outsourcing that initial element of our business it just worked so well that in turn we now outsource various elements, including what we call performance marketing, which is ultimately advertising on social platforms. Again, we spoke to a few agencies, but you'll go into somebody who has skills that you don't have, has access to tools and information that you probably don't have access to yourself. And for us, again, running a lean business, it's the best way to do it is to go to people who know exactly what they're doing and have them work with you.
Beautiful. Did you hire admin work, executive assistants, VAs?
No, we haven't actually. Well, it's a bit of a fib there. A year ago we employed what we refer to as an office associate. I think that the title of the role was at the time. Now, what that really was almost sort of an office manager, somebody who would be able to ship all of our packages over the world and just deal day-to-day runnings of the business, customer service and the like. Excuse me. And as they came in and we started to understand where their skills lay, it was more in creative writing, storytelling, research. And so we had a requirement for this sort of administrative role that as things developed, it turned into a slightly different role that we employed this person for. And it's a really good example of being a lean business. If you do find that the person you've employed doesn't necessarily have exactly the skills that you thought they may have when you employed them, we find that it's better to sort of allow them to grow in the area where they have skill rather than try to push them down a route where they don't.
Beautiful. And so this was the beginning, and then growing and scaling. Where did you face challenges like, should we hire more people? Should we get some physical? Or because when I think producing watches, I think storage, I think manufacturing, I think big machines. How do you stay lean also along the way growing?
Yeah, it's challenging. We, as predominantly a design business, we don't manufacture ourselves. There's not really a watch manufacturing industry in the UK. But what we do is we work with very specific partners who manufacture certain elements of watches. And we're very particular about who we choose, but we also limit the number of partnerships that we have, again, to keep things simple, that communication as reduced as possible. For example, there are probably 7 or 8 main components of a watch, and one of those is a movement, which is an incredibly sort of technical piece of engineering. You could go to 7 or 8 different manufacturers for each individual element, and we don't really do that because it would take up huge amounts of time. So we tend to find manufacturing partners who are able to produce multiple components that we require, and then you sort of have that one port of call for multiple production lines, multiple sort of products that you're running, and again, it keeps time down to a minimum and keeps everything nice and efficient.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Oliver, for this episode. I am so happy that you will come back. We are going to ask you, how do you fast prototype, even especially if it's not software, but it's hardware? Can you still be fast prototyping? And I know that you can. So I will ask you a ton of questions about that because this is so relevant to everybody of us. So thank you very much, Oliver, for being here.
Thank you, Simon.
Everybody, keep you posted. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We all know that working in sprints is better, but how do we know what to work on? You're in luck because we have a 15-minute exercise that will give you complete clarity on where to take your project next. Go to strategysprints.com/sales to complete our short exercise and meet one-on-one with an expert sprint coach to identify your number one bottleneck.